Episode 74. To be or not to be. Mahavir pushed open the flat door. He heard the swoosh sound. A thick white envelope lay on the floor. Mahavir picked it up, closed the door, and left. Once in the car, Mahavir counted the money. Full 2.5 lakhs. He smiled to himself. Not because the sight of the money was very pleasing, but because Mahavir had seldom had such an easy case. Before his first meeting with Sunita, he had already done the background check on her. She was earning a fat pay package with the IT industry and had quite a few expensive properties to her name. Additionally, she was to inherit her grandfather's and her uncle's properties as well. That had prompted Mahavir to quote double the amount. And Sunita agreed without any negotiations. She just wanted the proofs. The first few photographs of Raju and Bhairvi had convinced Sunita that Mahavir was a pro. Raju and Bhairvi were totally unaware that they were being watched. Perhaps it didn't even occur to them that someone could be watching them. Hence, they followed an almost fixed routine, frequenting the same cafes, eating at the same restaurants, and in the last month had watched 2 films at the same multiplex. It had made Mahavir's job so much easier. In fact, when they were watching Lapata Ladies, Mahavir was sitting right behind them, and he could hear them talking clearly. But the conversation was disappointing, really. Firstly, they hardly talked. And when they did, it was all about some Girish who had recently opened a department store in Toronto. What kind of an affair are these two involved in, thought Mahavir. But Mahavir got good shots and he sent them to Sunita in his weekly report. Mahavir knew that she will get back at Raju with a vengeance. Raju was around 29 while Sunita was around 34. They had got married 3 years back when Sunita, on behalf of her company, designed a software for the travel and tour company where Raju worked. The two fell in love and within 6 months got married. Raju belonged to a typical middle-class family residing in a small town, but he had secured a good job in the megacity and had progressed quite a bit. He was impressed with Sunita's prowess on language, her ability to take charge of everything, and her exposure to all modern systems and ways. But Raju was not really prepared for her higher standards of living, monetary supremacy, and her dominance over all matters of the home and workplace. The birth of their daughter made Raju think that Sunita will slow down and become more home-oriented. But nothing of the sort happened. Gradually, the two of them began to drift apart. What sent the alarm bells ringing for Sunita was that Raju had stopped complaining about her attitude and her refusal to take care of his parents. He didn't protest when Sunita engaged a round-the-clock maid to take care of their daughter. And then it was the perfume that gave Raju away. He was fond of fruity fragrances. But Sunita began to observe that on many evenings when Raju came back, he smelled of strong flowery scents, rose and musk, and even the tangy lemony types. It was at this point that she engaged Mahavir to find out the truth and give her the proofs. Appu's tea stall was Mahavir's favorite place to have hot tea and butter buns. Whenever he was free, Mahavir would sit at Appu's stall for hours, and the two would gossip and joke and laugh to their heart's content. With a good amount safely in his locker, Mahavir was feeling happy and carefree. As Mahavir sipped from the 3rd cup of tea, he suddenly saw Bhairvi on the opposite side, standing at the bend of the road. This was an area he had never seen her frequenting. It was some 10 kilometers away from her flat and almost 8 kilometers distant from her office. She was standing at the bend of the road and was looking into her cell phone. Mahavir's entire composure stiffened. In the past 1 month, she had not come to this area. So what was she doing here? Mahavir leaned forward to have a better view of Bhairvi. From a distance, he saw a private taxi drawing up. So Bhairvi was booking a ride, it seemed. As the taxi came nearer, Bhairvi turned from the bend towards the main road. Suddenly, Mahavir saw Bhairvi holding hands of a little child, perhaps 7 or 8, dressed in a school uniform and with a largish school bag hung across his shoulders. The duo got into the taxi, which sped away before Mahavir could think what to do. Mahavir was quite amused to see Bhairvi with a child. He had found out that she was single and lived in a modest 1-bedroom apartment. Was he the kid of a neighbor or of a relative? He was wearing a school uniform, which clearly implied that the boy was studying in this same city. Mahavir asked Appu, हाँ भैया, यहाँ पे पास में ही एक स्कूल है ना, संस्कृति विद्यालय. It is very famous and very expensive school भैया. किसी को एडमिशन चाहिए? Expensive school? Raju and Bhairvi earned well, but Mahavir doubted if they had money to afford a child's education in Sanskriti Vidyalaya. But was that child Raju and Bhairvi's? He looked like 7 or 8, so it was difficult that they were his parents. Mahavir had to go to the depths to find it out. Mahavir bought a packet of biscuit and khari and offered them both to Pradeep, the security guard of Someshwar Society. He had befriended Pradeep when he had first begun the surveillance on Bhairvi. Pradeep, ये भैरवी मैडम का बच्चा कौन से स्कूल में पढ़ता है? Pradeep stopped chewing and his eyebrows knitted in a question mark. भैरवी मैडम का बच्चा, उनका कौन सा बच्चा है साहब? She doesn't have any child of her own. Mahavir knew he had to be very cautious now, as he didn't want Pradeep to find out that he was keeping a watch on Bhairvi. He had told Pradeep that he was from the census office, and they had received a few complaints that some residents of Someshwar Society were not giving correct details. नहीं, वो one of our officers saw Bhairvi madam with a child around 7 or 8 in a school uniform in a taxi 2 days back. So I thought that I will find out the truth from you. Arey, oh Sahab, you're talking about Rahul. Arey, he lives with Bhairvi madam Sahab, but he is not her son. The day Bhairvi joined World Travels and Tours, Tushar, a senior employee of the firm, lost his wife in childbirth. Bhairvi was just a junior marketing executive, but she saw the daily struggle of Tushar in bringing up his son. Though there was an age gap of 9 years between them, they got married. Little Rahul was just 2 years old then. The love and care that Bhairvi gave to him instantly touched a deep chord in the little toddler's heart. Mom became his entire world. For a couple of years, the three of them lived a very happy life. Then suddenly, Tushar developed cancer of the esophagus, and in a matter of months, he went back to his maker. Tushar was embroiled in a legal matter over some property with his 2 brothers. They filed a case in the court asking for transfer of his property to them and also Rahul's custody. But Bhairvi knew that Rahul may perhaps not survive if he went to his uncle's place. One night, quietly, she packed up some stuff, took Rahul with her, and went to live in a rented accommodation at the other end of the city. She changed Rahul's school and secretly started making arrangements to migrate to Canada. That is when she came close to Raju. He supported her fully and developed a routine wherein Bhairvi would only come out to meet clients. Raju's friend Girish was in Toronto, who had offered a job to Bhairvi and also a place to stay. Mahavir had snooped over hundreds of people for his clients, and by a rough estimate, he was responsible for almost 24 divorces. In the case of Raju and Bhairvi too, he had thought that it was a routine case of an extramarital affair, which will lead to a divorce. Mahavir still thought that the affair between them did exist. But now he knew the real intentions of Bhairvi, and he just didn't want to do anything which would delay or obstruct her safe passage to Canada. Sunita was very surprised when in the weekly report she did not receive any photographs, but just a small note from Mahavir. No affair between subject and suspect, only official dealings. Case closed.